Welcome everybody to another episode of the Three Count. This is your man. This is Jaquan, Benny, and Paulinho. We back.
I'm a heel today.
Tonight, part one of the Payback preview. We're after Raw. The day after Raw. All right. So we saw Raw. We saw what it would look like and the setup for the matches. Let's start off with the setup for the tag team match. We talk about Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler teamed up to go up against Bayley and Sasha for the belts. Jay, what are your thoughts?
What? Like that's my thought. It's just what? What are we doing? Y'all couldn't think of nobody else of all the women that you have, several of which are probably in tag teams somewhere. But you come up with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I mean, Shayna's got her homies in the back.
They already made the appearance on Raw Underground.
Yeah, like you got Marina and you got Jessamine back there. But you put her with Nia Jax. Like, weird flex, but all right. We're going to see how this works. I mean, most likely, I think that they're probably going to win because you have to take the titles off of Sasha and Bayley in order to lead for that feud to progress. But I mean, I guess if you want Nia and Shayna to be on multiple shows, then okay, that's the way to do it. But it don't make a lot of sense.
So who you got winning?
I said Nia and Shayna.
Okay.
At this point, you have to because the Sasha and Bayley thing has to progress, and I think maybe this thing may not come to fruition until WrestleMania. Truthfully, I that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. The way that they're slow burning this, the way that they have been slow burning this like the last 3 years, wouldn't surprise me if that the culmination of the 50 million years that they've taken to take over Brooklyn doesn't happen to WrestleMania. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Benny?
Okay. So remember all of the stuff that I was saying at SummerSlam about them losing the tag titles at Payback? Yeah. Scratch that. I'm going Sasha and Bayley here. It's one way or the other, the two of them are still going to walk out with the tag titles. And the reason why I'm saying that is honestly, one thing Monday night changed my mind. During the match between Bayley and Shayna Baszler, Shayna yelled something at Sasha, and in the midst of her yelling at Sasha, you could see Sasha with both of the tag titles over her shoulder, and she was clutching onto the SmackDown Women's title like her life depended on it. And she was just like, no, I have all the belts. So to me, it's like they're like going to keep this subtle build going for a little while longer, and they're going to actually build towards the fact that Bayley still has her two titles being what drives Sasha over the edge. I really think that they're going to sit up there and completely screw up what I was hoping they were going to do before, which was have Sasha be the face in all of this. I really think they're going to have Sasha go over the edge and actually make her the more heel out of the two heels.
You know what would actually be interesting? If they go with what you're saying, which now is making me think I probably shouldn't have picked that and been so rash. But you're right. It'd be hilarious if they have it where they lose the tag titles at Royal Rumble and Sasha comes out late in Royal Rumble, wins the Royal Rumble, and challenges Bayley.
Damn it.
At WrestleMania.
You're gonna have to stop interrupting my getting.
I just thought about it when you said it. I'm like, yo, that's a flex right there.
That's
Like,
what
that's a serious flex.
That's what I was gonna go with. I was gonna go with that because of the fact that it's like I don't believe in this tag team of Nia and Shayla. I think it's just thrown together just for.
I don't either, but I just figure get the titles off of them and let the dissension happen. But now that y'all say that, it's like the other way is better. The other way is a lot better.
Because
here's my question, and it doesn't have anything to do with Sasha and Bayley. Where's Naomi? Where's I had no Carmella hasn't been on TV.
Oh, Carmella's still quarantining from COVID.
Okay, so
That's her
that
whole thing.
she hasn't.
She's in Pittsburgh. She's in Pittsburgh. She lives with Corey Graves. She's in Pittsburgh. Like, notice Corey only showed up for like the taping of like NXT, and he shows up for the tapings, but she's in Pittsburgh. So like, unless she's come back out of nowhere, as far as I know, she's in Pittsburgh.
Are they so intertwined with each other at the moment that you couldn't free up the Iconics or the newly formed Riot Squad? Now I know the Bianca Belair thing is I know the Riot Squad is kind of sort of let's build up Bianca Belair at the moment, but what's the deal with the Iconics? You could have been like, oh well, the Iconics are the one that took the titles off of Sasha and Bayley the first time. Maybe they're going to take these belts again. I mean, you could have done something, have a nice little tag team gauntlet match or something on Raw that could have set up to this instead of
the way I see it. The way I see this is this. I see they're hoping this is gonna be the team I look at. A team of Naomi and Carmella, the dancing duo, take the belts off for them. They're gonna build them up at the end of this year, and they're gonna take the belts away on that Rumble, and that's when things boil over. Because you have to look at Sasha starting to build her anger towards Bayley, and Bayley saying, Bayley, those belts, those straps.
Straps. Because remember, we barely use the word belts now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't say
it's
that.
It's one of those one of those band terms.
Yeah. So she's gonna keep going with that because she still has her singles title and the tag team title. So she's gonna keep going with that, and it's gonna start poking and prodding at Sasha to the point where, like, by the time it's like you're gonna start seeing the cracks, Survivor Series.
Not to mention, notice that they keep doing it where Sasha's always helping Bayley, and Sasha's getting salty, but Bayley never helps Sasha.
Right. Like when you saw SummerSlam, Sasha took that rear end move from Asuka. Bayley did. Bayley moved out the way.
Bayley dies. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say before you actually gave what I was going to say.
Here's the funny thing about that. Oh, my bad, Paul. But here's the funny thing about that. At the end of that match, they were just like, oh, well, Sasha took the shot and all was saying Bayley didn't take the shot. Bayley still got knocked out right after that. So it was not like she didn't.
Yeah, but she didn't hang in and take the L. She moved. That's what they do.
I'm like, yeah, y'all can't be spinning this junk all stupid like that. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Because like again, everybody always says saying, "Oh, we want a long storyline." We finally getting one, but the problem is they've been how they're keeping us entertained is a concern. At a certain point, like, all right, where are you going with this? So I have Bayley and Sasha retaining for that fact. Because at Royal Rumble I see them losing, and the team I'm hoping they put together is Carmella and Naomi, but that's depending on Carmella coming back from her quarantine.
Really?
Who else you got?
Carmella and Naomi?
Who else you got, bro?
Give me somebody from NXT. Like, I want to see them actually face a tag team. Like, I want to see those titles make a tag team in NXT.
I got one for you. If we're gonna wait until the end of the year, considering they're getting time on Raw Underground, you might see Duke and Shafir do it.
But see, here's the thing.
I I like that.
If that's the case, then I want to see that happen. I want to see that happen at Survivor Series, or it's not too far off the way, but Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions comes before Survivor Series this year.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So Clash of Champions.
I mean, sure.
But at that point, though, but here's the problem: if you do a Clash of Champions, you're risking the breakup happening early. Survivor Series is the best.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'll happen too early. That's what I'm saying. I think the titles they'll lose the titles at Royal Rumble, but we need to see a tag team emerge, and that's my thing. Because I mean, you know what? Remember, was it Billy Kidman? It was Billy Kidman and that dude that was on 205 Live that looked like, you know, a gay pirate. God, he was the guy who beat TJP for the title for the first time. Huh?
Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, Brian Kendrick. And I forgot who. I think it was Billy Kidman and Brian Kendrick, or Brian Kendrick and somebody else. That was a tag team. They were like extra small, but they reminded everybody of the Hardys, but like the Hardys light. And they were just extra small, but they beat everybody and had like one of the longest tag team runs in history. I kind of see that same dynamic if they build them right with Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. Like, I low-key want to see them get a nice little – I want to see the titles on somebody that nobody knows so that now we're forced to pay attention and you're forced to showcase different women, because at this point, we're trying to shuffle through the same old talent, and the same old talent just ain't delivering no more. Honestly.
But here's the thing, though. Can you blame the talent, or do you blame the producers and the writers? And
I blame a little bit of everybody, honestly.
Because
I blame a little.
You had the belts on the Iconics. The Iconics actually were an official tag team, and they could have done something. But unfortunately, the reason they were given the belts, as we all know, was because they were supposed to have the belts, and they were supposed to lose it to the Bella Twins when they came back. But unfortunately, the Bella Twins did it past medical. I don't know why they thought they would. I mean, what's her name? Nikki retired or stepped away because of her neck. So I don't know why they thought that she was going to pass a physical.
You know why?
But I mean,
because right before that Evolution had happened, and it was just like, oh, well, Nikki, she went out there and she had this great match with Ronda Rousey, so why not?
Oh! Sorry, I just seen the score for the Clippers Mavs game.
Yeah, the Clippers think they're the Lakers tonight.
Playoff P out here looking like, bro, y'all forgot. He looking like Playoff P.
I'm over here watching Survivor Series, last year's Survivor Series. I'm in the women's match right now.
I mean, my whole thing is look, we don't know what's gonna happen with Ember Moon, so I can't even really. She's like Quincy and Newmont for me right now. Like, you don't know when she's gonna come back or if she's gonna come back, so I can't.
She's a wild card.
Because you don't know if she's gonna retire for good or not. Because nobody knows how severe the injury is.
It's an Achilles tear, right?
I think it's an Achilles injury, but it's like everybody comes back from an Achilles. Why is yours suddenly so catastrophic?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because, like, we ain't talking about Xavier Woods retiring either. He tore his.
No,
We're just waiting for him to come back.
I wonder if she's ever had an injury before.
I don't know.
If she's never
either that or did it compound with something else? Because
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's like an injured. Maybe it's like a torn Achilles and then like tore up her calf muscle or something. Where like you don't know if her calf muscle and like the stability on her leg is gonna last for that long. Like that's a different situation.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that is a moment that I swear I will never ever forgive WWE for, because she had no business being in that segment.
Nope.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Now I'm trying to think though, like who else is on the roster for women? Like, they have such a diverse roster, but it's hard to think of any of the women specifically that are on the roster. So you're looking at it.
Bianca Belair, you got Natalya, You got
I mean,
Carmella, Dana Brooke,
here's
Nikki.
my thing. I know you hate Natalia, and I know we all have a general disdain for watching Natalia work, even though I respect her work. But Natalia and Lana are an interesting prospect.
I wouldn't be
To
surprised if
put
they
the-
end up as champions soon either.
Yeah, but the thing,
And
I-
as far as I go, I don't actually hate Natalia. I just hate her sharpshooter.
but see, here's my thing
That's
though.
fair.
So you're gonna have a heel versus heel match for the titles?
I mean,
I don't
they
know.
aren't necessarily.
I think a
That's the
triple
thing.
threat.
It's not heel face in this situation. It's a situation where if you play it right, these two are just bickering with each other, and it's just teams coming at them trying to capitalize on the discord. So it doesn't matter if they're face or heel.
So at this point, then what we're looking at is we can actually start the disagreement coming up in Survivor Series. They win a match,
Right.
barely win it, and then they start getting attacked, and then they finally have an actual team to put together for Royal Rumble, and that's when the actual split happens, the big fight. And then say Sasha knocks out, say like I don't know, Dana Brooke,
Mm-hmm.
and takes her spot. Everybody's like, "Oh, number 26 is Dana Brooke. Where's Dana Brooke?" Shot of her in the back, like on a freaking laid out on the floor. Next thing you know, you see
Mm-hmm.
Sasha Banks song come out, or Sasha come out, and there it is, and she wins it.
Hey,
Which,
see, here's my one issue with that, and I am sorry to speak such negativity into existence, but we all know that 30 spot is going to Charlotte Flair when she returns.
That's a fact.
yeah,
That's a fact.
yeah,
That's a fact.
or Sasha could win the Money in the Bank.
I would like that.
That I would actually like that.
I would like that.
I would like that better because of the fact.
But we have to wait until next June for that.
Bruh, could you imagine? Now, granted, this would be so annoying waiting this long, but could you imagine Sasha and Bailey still hanging around each other? Bailey still being SmackDown Women's Champion, and Sasha winning Money in the Bank?
I like the idea,
And then being
but
so
that's
paranoid.
June. That's June, though. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, that's June.
I would love that so much.
What I would love if they found some way to have Otis give his briefcase to Sasha, and they just convert it that way because they never actually had a Money in the Bank situation when it came for the women. Becky just gave it to her.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I still found it funny when Otis ran down after the Mandy Sonya match
Yep.
because it looked like he was about to cash in on Mandy.
Yeah, it did. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
that was like the first time I've seen him with the briefcase, too.
Since he won
It
it.
was funny. It's funny because like Jaquan was like in the midst of all of it. I was like, Otis hasn't. I haven't even seen the briefcase on it. It just kind of like deleted itself out of existence. Next thing you know, my man is running down the aisle, down the ramp with it towards Mandy Rose. I'm like,
hold on,
oh my
what's going
god,
on?
what is he doing?
Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah. All right, next match.
You know what? Actually, no. I just had a thought, and this is gonna be ridiculous. But remember the whole Nicholas segment with Braun Strowman?
Yeah.
Imagine for a second, whoever it is at Royal Rumble, because I'm guessing that they're not going to lose until Royal Rumble. Now that I've spoken about that, and it's the one thing that actually makes sense. Imagine if there's only one partner, and somebody else needs another partner, and I kid you not, it's Kayla Braxton, and Kayla gets the pin because
I would
of how
love it.
mean they've been to her.
Give it all
that
to
would
me
be
right now.
that would be pure unadulterated gold.
I'm telling you, yo, I'm telling you.
No.
I said
even
it
the
the
team
other.
of Charlie Caruso and Caleb
Yeah,
Braxton.
I said it the other day. Charlie and Kayla are going to be the ones that take the titles off of them.
Yo, that would
And
be
it's gonna-
not only
and it's gonna
hilarious,
be-
but that would be great storytelling.
And it's going to be because Sarah Shriver gets involved, and she's going to clip Bailey, and Kayla going to catch her with the roll-up.
I'm telling you, and then everybody gonna be surprised. Like, yo, stop messing with these backstage people. Like, they can't thump. Like I'm telling you, give Caleb Braxton a little Alexa Bliss punch, real quick, bro. That would be incredible storytelling.
I
It would
would
be
love it.
hilarious
All right.
to see them interviewing people with the titles on their
So,
titles on their shoulders.
Clash of Champions in September is over at the Prudential Center in Newark.
Right.
That happened.
We'll see about that.
All right, next match. We got Apollo Crews defending his belt against Bobby Lashley, which we don't like because of the fact that it's Bobby Lashley and we feel he should have gotten a push already. Instead of this title, he should have gotten a push for McIntyre's belt because what we thought the whole Randy match was going to be like didn't come anywhere close to Ric Flair intervening. Nothing. So that was a waste. Should have just given that push to Bobby to have feud with Drew. Those are my thoughts. I think Bobby's gonna win this one, and I think we may see somebody coming up for the Hurt Business, possibly. What are your thoughts, Benny?
I am completely in agreement. As I said before, this was not what I wanted, which is why I selected MVP to win the match last week. Like I said, I don't want Bobby Lashley anywhere near the mid card. I think WWE jumped the gun way too quick when it came to Drew McIntyre's championship win. And him feuding with Lashley like almost immediately right after that. But like I said, it is what it is. Hindsight 2020. We all know that shit shouldn't have happened. But
I think that had something to do with
this
Jinder's injury, though.
Yeah.
either way, man, you could have found they brought Dolph Ziggler in again off for nothing. You could have given him like you could have moved his feud up a little further.
True.
But
There's a lot you could have, and you could have, like I said, you could have given Bobby a better feud with Drew than what he got. You know?
yeah, because a lot of stuff was still going on at that time and everything too. So you sat up there, you had that nonsense happening too. But again, like that's neither here nor there. It's just a matter of like what I wanted to see versus what actually ended up happening. So, like I said, right now I need to see Lashley with a belt. All right, Lashley, he didn't put his time in, and this is the second run that he sat up there, hadn't been jerked around for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So, put the title on him, let him make some type of prestige out of that belt, and then, move him up after that. So, like I said, I got Lashley on this one.
Okay.
I do think it's going to be Lashley, but I think that this may, in a weird way, I think either they're setting up for someone to come up and challenge for that title, or they're settling for Keith Lee to drop down after the match with Randy to feud with Bobby Lashley. It's one of those two things. Because the more I think about it, the more it's like, okay, who's in the mid card on Raw that
All
would
minorities.
theoretically make sense? Also true, but that would theoretically make sense to feud with Bobby or Apollo Crews for that matter. There's no one there. Like the mid card for Raw is sorry. Like real sorry. And it's mainly because they got everybody tied up in tag teams.
Well, not
Like
just
I love Angel Garza to get a run as US champion personally. We already had the Andrade. Like I'd love for Angel Garza to get his run. I'd love for at this point I'd love for Montez Ford or
D'Angelo.
what's his partner? D'Angelo to get a run. Like I need someone new that's not recycled, but the problem is the mid card is bare, or at least it's at a point where like maybe Cedric, maybe Ricochet, but I doubt it because they keep burying Ricochet in every promo.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely see Cedric since they're trying to pump him up. I just don't know how he's going to hit that lumbar check on Bobby Lashley, but I'll let them figure that out. But overall, I think it is Bobby Lashley. I think Apollo Crews could have had a better run, but it wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. I just wish there were more open challengers. Ooh, Mustafa Ali would be interesting.
He would be, but they buried him
they
quickly.
buried him too.
I mean,
Second time he came back, the second match he'd come back, fights Bobby Lashley. Like, did you really expect him to win that match? Like, why would you put him there?
but I mean, it definitely does set up for if Bobby Lashley wins, like he could get a second shot and he could probably beat Bobby Lashley. It's not believable.
I'm not even concerned about him losing to Bobby Lashley. My concern is him losing to Riddick Moss later on down in the week on main event.
Yeah.
Well, again, the whole point of that was too that Riddick Moss was supposed to be set for a big push until something happened.
Okay, Elma.
Vince likes him. I don't know
Vince
why.
likes
but
every
Vince likes
muscular white man he sees.
Except for EC3.
with long hair.
Oh,
With
yeah,
long
I'm
hair.
sorry. I forgot about him.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have the long hair. That's why.
Oh, yeah. It's the hair.
All right. Going to the Fiend versus Braun versus Roman in a no-holds-bar triple threat match.
This one is easy. We
Go
called this one already.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
We know. And I'm actually not even mad about this. Like, that's the crazy part. Is because we know that the Fiend, as much as people are talking about Fiend should be champion, how many times did Undertaker hold the title?
I think
It's
it's a handful of times. That's it.
I want to say
really held. He's like a 3-time world champion. Like he doesn't.
no.
have,
It's been more than that, but yeah.
But then it's like you've seen him hold like the hardcore title, and that was about and the tag titles. Those were like the only titles he had. But Undertaker's aura superseded the need for a title, and I feel like that's what the Fiend is. The problem with the Fiend is that he's only going after people that he's previously had contact with.
Mm-hmm.
So until they do something about that, it's going to be hard to book the Fiend. But the Fiend is not meant to be the world champion. He's not meant to be at the top of the card in terms of being the champion. He's meant to be that guy that comes around when you're either the upstart going into that kind of stratosphere of the main guys, or he's that bonus boss that you have to do a side mission to go and fight kind of situation. Like he's not a champion though. Like he'll win the championship every now and again, but he's not a champion. So him being the champion has always felt very temporary to me. And the simple fact that, again, Roman coming back changes the entire landscape of the top of the card. And it almost writes the ship because Braun is such a good feel-good story, and it's a very Kofi-esque kind of story. But, Braun's run has been lackluster. It's been lackluster. Outside of, this whole situation with The Fiend, he hasn't really had another good match since Roman. He hasn't had a good feud since Roman. So, I mean, as much as people, laughed at what Roman said, how was he wrong? You're not a monster unless I'm here. You're not relevant unless I'm here. And he has a point. He has a very valid point. And thank the heavens that they started letting Roman Reigns speak like Joey and Noah. Because, God, I love this. I love it so much. And I'm so happy to say that Roman Reigns has taken the Universal title. And hopefully being a lot more heel than face.
All right, so going back to Taker. Taker won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship 4 times and the WCW title 3 times.
Again, that goes back to my point. He was in the company for 20 some odd, almost 30 years and only won the title 4 times. And the World Heavyweight Championship was bounced around to middle of the like you had a top tier like main card, and then you had like a middle tier main before you got to the mid card.
Here's the thing about the world heavyweight title run. Around that time, like Undertaker didn't win the WWE championship again after he was undisputed champion that time.
Right.
And reason being is because the undisputed title turned into the spinner title right after that. Spinner title, Undertaker don't really go together.
Nope.
So they kind of sort of had to relegate Undertaker over to SmackDown, where the World Heavyweight Championship was, and that was the only title he was ever winning.
But again, it's very much the Fiend with the blue title looks stupid for one thing. It's just the Fiend with the Universal title looks dumb. But in the same token, like he's such a draw that I understand why you would want to have that. And the Roman Fiend thing should have happened at WrestleMania anyway. But in the same breath, it's like the Fiend doesn't really need the title. So him having the title is neither here nor there for me. So him losing the title is either here nor there. And this whole triple threat setting is just a way to protect the Fiend.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to protect the Fiend.
Yeah.
And it's like Braun Strowman has done phenomenal work. Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns together do phenomenal work. So, and it's Roman's already beaten Strowman. So it's like, it's believable that Strowman should take the pin. And Strowman just lost to the Fiend. So it's believable that Strowman can take the pin. My question is, how is Roman going to get a pin on Strowman without the Fiend breaking it up, unless the Fiend just doesn't care and watches it happen, which I also think could be a really cool moment if they do it right.
Well, it's going to be interesting because, like, we're on agreement Roman's going to win this one and Braun's going to take the pin. It's just a matter of how it's going to happen. Now, I believe they're going to take the Fiend out somehow because obviously there's no whole bar, so he's going to be taken out somehow. Just long enough for Roman to pin Braun. And the way
I know what's going to happen.
the way
him in a sewer or something.
The way I look at it is like Fiend gets up and he lets the pin go, but then like while he's celebrating, like the lights go out and he just disappears, like he usually does.
See, what's going to happen is the Fiend is going to have beat the living shit out of both of them, and they're both going to be laid out in the middle of the ring, and then the lights are going to go out, and when the lights come back on, JoJo's going to be standing on the ramp, and she's going to be like, it's time for another baby. And the Fiend's going to be like, you know what, you're right.
All right. So since we're all looking at that one, now we go into the Keith match. Which going to Raw last night, it was not the expected debut we thought we were gonna have for Keith Lee. Obviously, there's issues with his theme song, his intro song, because the issues with, if you haven't heard, the people that made it, and there's a whole fiasco with that, so they changed his song. His ring gear, it was like Vince was like, no, I don't like you showing your chest. You look like you fat. Wear a shirt.
That, and apparently his gear looked too indie. That's the word I got.
That's the word you got?
It looked too indie. So they wanted to give him temporary gear until they could figure out what kind of look they want to use for him. They better not put him in a unitard. That's all I'm saying.
They probably will. And they're putting in the unitard with two straps.
Don't worry.
Mark Henry.
That's what he's gonna look like.
Yeah. Yeah. With this match, I think I'm in agreement with what you guys said. Keith Lee's gonna win by DQ, or was gonna lose by DQ, because Randy's gonna get, well, not Randy, Drew's gonna get involved again to come back.
Here's what I'm gonna say, because I'm Drew is gonna get involved. How I see this is going is he's going to get involved in a situation where the referee and Keith
I was
Lee
just thinking that.
both
Oh my God, I was just
are
thinking
out. He gonna Claymore the living shit out of Randy Orton. Keith Lee's gonna pick up the win that way. So Keith Lee's gonna win his debut match, but he's gonna win it with help. So it's not gonna be a clean win. That keeps Randy strong. That gives Keith Lee the win, and it also gives Keith Lee incentive to be like, "Yo, Roman, what? Not Roman. Sorry, Drew. What the hell? Like, I wanted to do this on my own, and you're my boy, but come on." So,
I got you one better. I got
think
you one better. I got you.
I honestly, all right, go ahead.
Drew comes out. You hear the song. He stands at the ramp. That's it. And Randy goes like that whole like, you know how they do. They just stand like they talk, and then like Keith just turns around, kicks him in the gut, spirit bombs him through the damn mat, and just pins him 1, 2, 3.
You know what? I think it'll go a little. It's gonna be a swerve. I think it's a situation where Drew comes out of the crowd or where the crowd is gonna be, and goes to Claymore Randy, misses, hits the ref, and then Randy RKO's Drew, knocks Drew out, but then in that RKO, he turns around, gets spirit bombed, and Keith Lee gets the visual pin. But the ref is out. So Keith tries to get the ref and then looks at Drew like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Randy hits a low blow, hits an RKO. Randy gets the pin. And that pisses Keith Lee off and in turn allows him to go after Drew McIntyre as well as Randy Orton. But it keeps Keith Lee strong because he gets the visual pin. And Randy wins via thumb to the eye, low blow, whatever nefarious means you want to. And it makes Randy look just as slimy, just as dirty, but he wins by the skin of his teeth because Keith Lee gives him everything he can handle.
Yeah,
That's how I think that one's going to go down.
So who you got, Jay? Randy?
I have Randy winning, yeah.
Ben, you got Keith.
yeah.
I got Randy too. I mean, the reason why you got to remember though, Benny, if Randy loses, it kind of takes the luster out of him staying in the title picture. That's the only reason.
Not if he loses, like, not if it's a dusty finish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because Drew Drew gets involved, he is the one that causes Keith Lee to actually win the match. Now all of a sudden, Randy is still pissed off at Drew. Because you got to remember, Seth Rollins lost to Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Very next month, he's facing Drew for the WWE title. So they can spin stories however they want.
Not but a hair in my chinny chin chin, will they?
mm-hmm.
Shit.
But I don't know.
And I think that's what that turns into.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they pull that one off because we were had a lot of swerves expected for this last SummerSlam. So, I mean, I said we were expecting some swerves in SummerSlam, and I was putting a swerve in
again,
every match.
y'all were expecting swerves. You were expecting the craziest swerves, but then again, we can't say what was real, what wasn't, because they changed a lot in SummerSlam as well. And they decided to take things away and mess up stories in SummerSlam as well as Monday Night Raw. So there's no saying, like, you can expect all the swerves the way the story is now, but the story could change come Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Thank you, Vince.
I'm not going to be the one to say it. Vince is becoming like Voldemort. You can't even say his name anymore.
I'll say it. I don't give a damn.
Vincemort.
That's what it's looking like. He's looking like Vincemort or Balpadine or something like that because he's just killing everybody.
Yeah, and don't forget, Aleister Black is a heel now, apparently.
Okay, I don't hate that. I just hate the way they did it. I don't hate that, though. And I don't understand why he still has a stupid eye patch on like a freaking pirate.
You know why? Because Vince was playing Metal Gear Solid 3. And he saw
Don't he
Big
look like
Boss.
Snake? Don't he look like
Yes.
Snake? Yo, he really does. I'm like, yo, his look looks so familiar, and I couldn't remember what it was until you just
He
said
looks
that.
like Big Boss for real, yo.
And you see how his thing almost slid off too when he hit him. His arm was like almost coming off, and I'm like, bruh. Notice too when they did the playbacks, they added the blood because that blood wasn't there.
Nah.
They added. I'm like, yo, Rey Mysterio wasn't bleeding out of his hand and all that. Like that, none of that happened. I watched it live the other day. None of that happened. And apparently, with Alistair, he just got poked really hard. It didn't rupture anything. So I'm like, all right, so you're gonna be straight. What they should do though is give him a white contact. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
I said that.
That would be sick.
I said that in the
That
chat.
would be sick.
That would be dope as
I'm
hell.
like, wait, hold on. That would be fire. They did that.
Yo, what
I
if
just don't
they
know how you
go?
wrestle with one contact.
Yo, what if they just go like full weeb and give him a Sharingan?
I don't hate that idea, but I think that's a little excessive.
Yeah, you know the funny thing about it is, you know why I bring that up is because every 2K game that comes out has those eyes in it.
Are you serious?
So, yes.
Yeah, they do. You can actually get those eyes.
You get the Sharingan eyes in a 2K game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
As bad as that sounds, it's just as bad. It's just as bad as you think it is.
Uh-huh.
Laughing. They're concerned about putting those Sharingan eyes in the game more than the stability of the game.
Absolutely.
We're not going to talk about that.
Discussion for another time.
That's we're not talking about that.
Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Payback preview. Before we get on here, if you guys talk, cut it down a little bit, brief. Don't forget, follow us, like us. Expect part 2 either Friday night or Saturday morning. Around there, getting ready. We'll either go over any changes that happened after part 1, or
Which they will happen.
Yeah. So following us,
Considering the way WWE moves, you know, next week that Randy Orton Keith Lee match is going to be a bra and panties match.
Oh,
Listen.
do you want to say anything about Wrestle Regret? Wrestling with Regret.
Oh yeah, I was trying to bring that up last time. We got cut off because Paul's his Skype exploded in the middle of it. But I think it was last Sunday, I believe it was, or sometime leading up towards SummerSlam. All of us sit up here and we watched different creators and things. It was one of the reasons why we all started doing this. One of which that I follow kind of sort of religiously is Wrestling with Regret. And Brian Zane lost his mom over the last couple of days. So if y'all want to go over there, all of y'all just go over there, drop my man a like and a nice comment or whatever, because he's going through it right now. He's taking some time off of it from doing his reviews and everything. But he's one of the reasons why I got into doing the reviews and everything. So, like I said, Steven Larson brought it up. They gave him a shout out. Wrestle Talk gave him a shout out on one of their episodes a little bit earlier. We just following suit because he's part of the community like we are. So
No doubt.
represent.
Much respect to him.
Thank you for joining us. Till next time. Have a good night.
Word.